All right, children, I've got a good one for you. Start with Why by Simon Sinek. And this was a wonderful book for, for a lot of reasons. But if you're into business, this is excellent so that you can sort of structure your business the right way and send out the right messages right from the get-go, because it is a difficult train to change directions once you're headed down that road. And he goes over a lot of companies that once had it and then lost it versus those that have it and maintain it, such as Apple has managed to do, and many others. But start with why. He talks about most companies start with how they do it, what they do, or just what they do, and what we have and why our product is cooler than that one or whatever. And you can manipulate people into becoming customers and things, but starting with why is much more effective and creates sort of a tribe following. I thought I'd shoot this video where I can have this beautiful halo to show the angel that I am, right? So anyway, hope you enjoy that. Quick note about this though. So I built this thing, and that whole section just comes out. You got like all the media crap behind there. You got the TV and the PlayStation and all the goodies, right? So don't just go telling everybody, Anyway, back to why we're shooting this. So start with why. I'm gonna obviously do my thing where I read a handful of quotes that I thought were interesting, and I highlighted so much stuff in this book, so I'm literally just scratching the surface, even though this video may go a little long. So here we go. There are leaders and there are those who lead. Leaders hold a position of power or influence. Those who lead inspire us. Whether individuals or organizations, we follow those who lead not because we have to, but because we want to. We follow those who lead not for them, but for ourselves. So that is a huge sort of concept in this book, that we should be looking for customers or clients or tribe or whatever that agree with us or sort of find personal value in the message we are putting out, right? And then they'll buy our product as a symbol of their sort of relationship or agreeability with what we're talking about, right? So like he talks about Mac a ton in here, or Apple, right? Because they've consistently worked in multiple different industries and disrupted many industries. And it doesn't really matter what their product is. So many people just want some of that, whatever that is, right? It's like, I want to be with Mac because that tells the world who I am and how I am, and that I identify as like a individual that pushes boundaries or whatever, right? Innovative. I'm a free thinker. I'm individualistic, right? And a lot of Apple's marketing is targeting those people, right? So he talks about an example in the book where there's this commercial that used to run back in the day, and like all these people are the same, they're dressed the same. It's sort of a black and white type view, and then all of a sudden this individual walks in, pops open his MacBook, and it says, empowering you or whatever. And it's very just like basically throwing stones at, all the PCs and other computer companies that are just selling a product, and it's for corporations and nothing's exciting about it. But then you have a Mac, you're unique, you're empowered as an individual. It's like they throw that vibe around a lot, and so people want to associate with that, and they go, I'm going to get a Mac because I push boundaries, right? Great leaders, in contrast, are able to inspire people to act. Those who are able to inspire give people a sense of purpose or belonging that has little to do with any external incentive or benefit to be gained. Those who truly lead are able to create a following of people who act not because they are swayed, but because they were inspired. For those who are inspired, the motivation to act is deeply personal. So it's funny, I shared a podcast about potential presidential candidate that's, trying to campaign and whatever. And I shared it with my friend. He listened to it and he immediately called me. He goes, dude, I love it. I'm gonna buy a shirt and donate to him, right, to his cause. And it's like he wants to own his shirt and give him money because he's inspired by his message and the things he wants to do, right? We don't even know if this candidate's going to become, a true option in the end, but he's like so motivated by the message that he heard that he's gonna throw money at it and rep his shirt. Like, he doesn't really gain anything from it, at least at this point, right? But he wants to associate himself with that. He sees this leader as someone that's got a message that he wants to hear more of. All the inspiring leaders and companies, regardless of size or industry, think, act, and communicate exactly alike. Isn't that interesting? They put their why ahead of everything else. There are only two ways to influence human behavior. You can manipulate it or you can inspire it. And he gets into great detail the difference between manipulation and inspiration. And that, manipulation is more like sort of incentivizing an offer or something, right? It's like, buy our product from us versus the other guy and we'll give you a discount, or we'll throw this on top of it and we'll give you this bonus or whatever. And so it's like, you're pulling at the strings of those people who want a specific product for a sort of specific problem. And they go, oh, okay, I'll buy from you because it's cheaper, or because you gave me a little extra something, and so I'll buy from you, whatever. But if you inspire people, they follow you around, they throw money at you, they promote your product, service, and company without being paid, because they want more of that in the world, and they want people to know that they identify with your company. So this is kind of Simon's brainchild, the golden circle. And it just has why in the middle. Then the next ring is how, and the outside ring is what. He says you've got to start with why. Obviously the point of the book, right? That's his golden circle. Why is in the middle, how, then what. What is just, the product you sell, right? The book that he wrote is what he has, right, to offer you. He has services as a consultant, and so that's what he does. How he does it, well, there's a lot of different methods. He could do it with the book. He could do it in person. He could do it on video conference. He could do it a lot of different ways. But why he does it is because he wants to, empower businesses to operate in a more efficient way, an effective way, an inspiring way, right? He has his own why. So that's the golden circle, he calls it. And after reading the book, it was so inspiring. I'm going to really try and remember the golden circle as I, move forward in the various businesses that I go with. But he goes into a bit of detail and then following pages of what, as I kind of explained. That's the product you have, the service you have, how you do it. That can be slightly different. It's a little harder to identify, and then why. So very few people or companies can clearly articulate why they do what they do. When I say why, I don't mean to make money. That's a result. By why, I mean, what is your purpose, cause, or belief? Why does your company exist? Why do you get out of bed every morning, and why should anyone care? Right? So when Bill Gates started Microsoft, what was his? Empowering individuals. Maybe I screwed up the Mac analogy anyway, but Bill Gates really wanted to empower as many people as possible with with software and systems. His motto was a laptop on every desk, or a computer on every desk. He thought that he could take what corporations were using in big, giant computers, shrink them down and make them more efficient, so that people could be empowered at that level. They could have the same technology that big, large corporations were using, and empower individuals. And that message carried on for years and years and years. And then Microsoft started losing that. It's funny because Microsoft is a software company. They didn't even make laptops, but people credit them with getting laptops and personal computers to everyone because their message was clear, their why was clear, and people accepted it and wanted to be a part of it, and they wanted to chase that dream. And that's so Bill Gates gets credit for that, right? Companies try to sell us what they do, but we buy why they do it. This is what I mean when I say they communicate from the outside in. They lead with what and how. So when communicating from the inside out, however, the why is offered as the reason to buy, and the what's serve as the tangible proof of that belief. The things we can point to rationalize or explain the reason we're drawn to one product, company, or idea over another. Most companies lose their why, the clear sense of why, right? When a company starts, the founder is very specific on why he's doing it. And as long as the founder's around and the company's small and tight-knit, that why really drives it. But as things grow and people get sort of more, separated out in their roles and they wear fewer hats and it's larger scale and everything's just trying to scale up, they become about operations. They become about revenue, bottom line, efficiency, running lean, etc. And they stop thinking about why the heck they're doing this business in the first place, right? What created it? What tribe they created to get off the ground and survive those first few years, right? Forget about those things. So the leader, after a while, it becomes his job just to keep that alive, not so much the operations anymore. The bigger you get, the more important it is to have someone whose job it is just to drive that, right? So on that note, he talks about if two people were arguing about, a product, iPhone versus Android. Well, each side will just discredit the other one's favorite features by saying that I don't care about that, so it's not better for me or whatever. And it's probably true, right? Because they both function very well, but it's you just get to pick which things you care and don't care about, right? And therefore, it's not necessarily about functionality. It's about who you identify with and which product or service sort of offers an expression of your why, or which company you sort of sync with. And so you're not trying to sell everyone, you're just trying to find your crowd. That's what it's about, right? So if you sell your why over and over and over, you come across people who identify with your why, and they jump on your bandwagon and they stay with you forever. All right? This is not for one-time sales deals. This is for companies that have multiple products and services, or are looking to get a customer and keep that customer for years and years and years. It's hard to make a case to someone that your product or services are important in their lives based on external rational factors that you have defined as valuable. However, if your whys and their whys correspond, then they will see your product and service as tangible ways to prove what they believe. When, why, how, and what are in balance, authenticity is achieved and the buyer feels fulfilled. There's no manipulation in the purchase. It's I get to buy something to support this idea and company and people that I identify with. The role of the leader is not to come up with all the great ideas. The role of the leader is to create an environment in which great ideas can happen. I'm going to skip a bunch of these because there's so many. I highlighted every couple pages I was highlighting stuff. So it's a very valuable book, but I'm going to end with this one. He talks about a race, right? And he's identifying this man named Ben who has MS or some tough illness that makes it hard for him to run, but he's going to go run this marathon. And so everyone takes off, running. The gun fires and everyone's out. Well, Ben's sort of like trotting along, struggling. He falls and gets back up, and he falls, and it's just like multiple falls, going very slow, just struggling. But he says at the end of the race, Ben's the only one with hundreds of people following him, right? All these other runners ran back to kind of cross the line with Ben and support him. He's the only one that when he falls, others pick him up. He's the only one that when he crosses the line, the crowd goes crazy, right? So he says what Ben teaches us is special. When you compete against everyone else, no one wants to help you. But when you compete against yourself, everyone wants to help you. So when you start with why, and your why is not like, I want to build a bigger, better company than that guy. Like, your why is just something down, deep inside yourself that you're trying to express to the world, and your competition is yourself, and how far can you go, and how strong can you get, and how big, and bad. Like, then the whole world goes like, yeah, here's $20, like, how can I help? What can I do? And so like the world becomes your team. So the way you define yourself really impacts your customer base and your success, long term. So I thought this was a fantastic book. I can't remember what podcast I was listening to, but they mentioned 3 books, and I bought all of them. This was one, Start With Why. True Believer, which is going to be my next book review. That one's it's very intriguing as well, and they both go very well together as far as sort of the concept of like understanding why people will jump into a mass movement, why people will support your business, all those types of things. And so if you've been to my website where I've got my books listed out, I try to order them up in, favorites at the top, number 1, through however many books there are, which is very difficult when, they're not all on the same subject. But this one will definitely be, a top 5 or 10 excellent book. Start With Why, Simon Sinek. I'll put the link as usual below to Amazon if you want to purchase it that way. And then that way I'll get a small kickback when you purchase. And anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you again next time. Adios.